Welcome to my kitchen. My name is Debbie Lemus and I'm from North Andover, Massachusetts. I'm really excited about showing you my entree recipe for today. I am making something that I'm calling the Lazy Man's Lasagna with meat sauce. And what is in my recipe, we're going to obviously have some meat, we're going to have some cheeses and onions and garlic, salt and pepper. As we go along, I will show you how I'm working these ingredients. I started to brown some of my ground beef. Why don't you come on over and I'll show you. I'm using here an 85% ground beef. I like to use the 85% because we have some fat in there that's going to add a lot of flavor to our sauce. So I'm adding here a small onion, chopped, and some garlic. I've added some salt and pepper to my ground beef already. And I'm going to add, I discovered this basil that's called freeze-dried basil. It's over in the produce section. It's a cross between the dried basil and then the fresh basil. And I like the flavor it gives off in my sauce. So I'm adding about a tablespoon of that. And now I'm going to add my favorite jar sauce. That's what I'm using today. And the wonderful thing about jar sauces is that you can add your own flavors to it. I'm adding, like I said, the ground beef, some onions and garlic, but you can add your own flavors. You can do mushrooms, maybe some red wine, extra garlic. You're only limited by your own imagination. And this is going to freshen up my sauce, and it's going to add a lot of flavor. Okay, I've mixed this in, and I'm going to let it simmer. Now I'm going to show you the cheese mix I'm going to use as part of my filling for the lasagna. I am using here a ricotta cheese. I'm using the part skim. You can use whole, you can use fat-free. I'm using the part skim, so that's what I could get a hold of in my refrigerator today. And then I'm going to use Philadelphia cream cheese, and I'm using an 8-ounce container of that at room temperature because it is at a better melting point when you leave it at room temperature. And then I'm going to use some mozzarella. I want to say it's about a 1/4 cup of mozzarella cheese. And I'm going to add some fresh pepper. Now I don't really add salt to this because the cheeses already have plenty of salt. So just some pepper. I'm going to mix. I'm also going to add some of that freeze-dried basil. Just to add a little bit extra flavor to the cheese. And I'm going to add about a tablespoon of that as well. And here we go. Now I'm going to continue to mix this, and then when we come back I'll show you how to put it all together. It really is that quick. Our meat sauce is all ready. Now I'm going to add some fresh basil. I have maybe about 10 leaves of fresh basil here that I chopped up, and I'm going to add it. Since we're using a jar marinara sauce, this basil is going to add a homemade taste to it. I promise you that. So I'm going to mix this in really well. And in the meantime also, my oven is preheated to 350 degrees. It's all ready to go. It's already giving me the signal. And I'm going to bring my sauce over here and we're going to start layering the pizza. I'm going to show you how I put it all together. Okay. Now, remember I mentioned to you earlier, Lazy Man's Lasagna, and this is where this comes in. I have my lasagna noodles here, and they're raw. They're still raw. This cuts out a step that's going to save us about 15 to 20 minutes. We don't have to boil water. We don't have to pat it dry. I'm going to show you how it works. First, we're going to start off by layering the bottom with some of our wonderful meat sauce. It smells so good. Okay, then we spread it out as such. Then I'm going to layer the noodles on the bottom, right on top of the sauce. Now I'm going to use 3 noodles across. This is a pan that's about 9 inches by 13, rectangular. And don't worry about the sides not having enough room because when the lasagna is cooking, it's going to expand. Now I add more sauce on top. We're just going to keep layering this. And I layer each noodle, each lasagna noodle with some of the sauce. You don't really need a lot of sauce, just enough to coat it. And then I add my cheese mixture. And I do 1 per lasagna. Here we go. Now my boys love lasagna. And this is the best way so far. I'm always trying new recipes. I've made spinach lasagna, all sorts of different types. And this is what they like best. Okay, I'm going to continue to layer this. I'm going to spread this ricotta cream cheese mixture, and I'm going to add some mozzarella cheese, and I'm going to keep layering it, and then I'll show you what it looks like in the end. Now I have the lasagna all layered. We have 3 layers, and I'm going to seal it tight with aluminum foil. And here's a trick. What I do is I spray the top with some cooking spray, and this keeps the cheese from sticking. And then I'm going to seal it tight. I'm going to put it in the oven at 350 degrees for, I would say, at tops 40 minutes. It really depends on your oven, and it depends on how many layers you have. I did 3 layers only, and what is going to help this lasagna cook is actually the sauce. The steam from the sauce is going to rise through the noodles, and basically what it does, it steams it and it just cooks it for you. And like I said, it cuts out maybe 15-20 minutes out of your time, and you can even make this when you come home from work at the end of the day. I'm going to put it in the oven. And I'm going to forget about it for the next 30 to 40 minutes. Our lasagna is all ready now. What I did is I took the top of the foil off in the last 3 to 5 minutes, so the top of the lasagna would melt nicely, the cheese. Look how yummy it looks. Oh, it smells so good. Now, I had some leftover sauce with meat, and I'm going to put some of that on top. I'm going to show you how I serve it. Normally, I advise that you hold on to the lasagna for about 5 minutes before you serve it. But I can't wait. It smells so good, so I want to try some right now. Wow, look at that. Let me get a spoon so I can spoon some of the sauce right on top like this. Add a little bit more flavor. And then I'm going to add some fresh basil on top to garnish it. Wow, that looks so good. My boys are going to be so happy when they come home for dinner today. They're just going to look forward to this. I'm just going to get a little bit of a head start here. I'm going to get some meat and some of the lasagna noodle. Some basil. Look at that. This is so good. I hope you try it and enjoy it as much as I do. Bye-bye. Thank you.